Good morning. Let us discuss congruency, which is a third module in analytic number theory. We all know 17 minus 2 equal to 15. That is equal to 3 into 5. Therefore, 5 is a divisor of 17 minus 2, or we can say that 17 is congruent to 2 mod 5. Or we can write 5 minus 5 divides 17 minus 2. Generally, we say that A is congruent to B mod M if M divides A minus B. If M does not divide A minus B, we say that A is not congruent to B mod M, or A and B are said to be incongruent. Then let us discuss various properties of this congruency. We can see that by means of this congruency relation, we partition this set of integers by means of this relation, because this congruency is an equivalence relation. We all know an equivalence relation is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. We know A is congruent to A mod M. Everyone know. Because M divides 0. 0 means A minus A. So A is related to A itself. Similarly, we can see that if A is related to B, B is related to A. That is, A is congruent to B mod M. Then M divides A minus B. That is, M divides B minus A. That is, B is congruent to A mod M. A related to A is congruent to B mod M implies B is congruent to A mod M. Similarly, we can see that the relation is transitive. We know A is congruent to B mod M and B is congruent to C mod M. Then A is congruent to C mod M. Since A is congruent to B mod M, M divides A minus B. Similarly, M divides B minus C. Then we can apply the linearity in module 1. That is, M divides A minus B plus B minus C. That is, M divides A minus B plus B minus C. That is, M divides A minus C. M divides A minus C means A is congruent to C mod M. Therefore, this relation is symmetric, reflexive and transitive. Therefore, we can partition set of integers by means of this congruency relation. Then let us discuss more properties. First property is, if A is congruent to B mod M and alpha is congruent to beta mod M, then Ax plus By, Ax plus alpha y is congruent to Bx plus beta y mod M. Since A is congruent to B mod M, M divides A minus B. Similarly, M divides alpha minus beta. Since M divides A minus B, M divides A minus B into X. Similarly, M divides alpha minus beta into Y. Then again we can apply the linearity property. That is, M divides A minus B into X plus alpha minus beta into Y. That is, M divides Ax plus alpha y minus bx minus beta y. That is m divides ax plus alpha y minus bx plus beta y. That is ax plus alpha y is congruent to bx plus beta y mod m. It is the linearity property of this congruence. Again we can see that if m divides or if a is congruent to b mod m and alpha is congruent to beta mod m, then a alpha is congruent to b beta mod m. We know a is congruent to b mod m means m divides a minus b. Similarly, m divides alpha minus beta. Therefore, m divides a minus b into alpha and m divides alpha minus beta into b. Again, we can apply linearity property, that is m divides a minus b into alpha plus alpha minus beta into b. We have m divides a alpha minus b alpha plus alpha b minus b beta. Therefore, alpha b and alpha b cancel. We get m divides a alpha minus b beta. That is a alpha is congruent to b beta mod m. So if we replace alpha by a and beta by b, we get a square is congruent to b square mod m. Similarly, we can see that a raised to n is congruent to b raised to n if a is congruent to b mod n. Then, if fx equal to, if f of x equal to a naught plus a1x plus etc. plus an x raised to n, we have fa equal to a naught plus a1a plus etc. plus an a raised to n. Similarly, f of b equal to a naught plus a1b plus etc. plus an b raised to n. Since a is congruent to b mod m, a is congruent to b mod m, a square is congruent to b square mod n, etc. A raised to n is congruent to b raised to n mod m, and we are applying the linearity property. A naught plus a1a plus etc. plus an a raised to n is congruent to a naught plus a1b plus etc. plus an b raised to n. That is, fa is congruent to fb mod m. If a is congruent to b mod m, fa is congruent to fb mod m. Then we are come on to the other theorems. If c is greater than 0 and a is congruent to b mod m, then ac is congruent to bc mod mc. It's very simple. Since we know a is congruent to b mod m divides a minus b, c is positive. Due to the multiplication and divisibility, we have mc is divides ac minus bc, or ac is congruent to bc mod mc if c is greater than 0. Then we are if A is congruent to B mod M. A is congruent to B mod M, and if D divides M and D divides A, then D divides B. It is very simple. Given that D divides A, that means D divides A means D divides A minus 0. That means A is congruent to 0 mod D. Also A is congruent to B mod M, but that means M divides A minus B. But we are given that D divides M. Due to the transitive property of divisors in unit 1, module 1, we see that if D divides M and M divides A minus B, then D divides A minus B. D divides A minus B. That is, A is congruent to B mod D. Again, we can apply the transitive property of congruency. That is, A is congruent to 0 mod D and A is congruent to B mod D gives B is congruent to 0 mod D. That is, if A is congruent to B mod M and D divides M, D divides A, then D divides B. Then we are come on. If another property is, if A is congruent to B mod M, then A M equal to BM. That is, if A is congruent to B mod M, the greatest common divisor of A and M equal to greatest common divisor of B and M. Let us assume that AM equal to D and BM equal to E. Since AM equal to D, D divides A and D divides M. And we are given that A is congruent to B mod M, which shows that by the above theorem we have D divides B. Therefore, D divides A and D divides M and D divides B. D divides M and D divides E, and E is the GCD of B and M. We have D divides E. Similarly, we can show that E divides D also. Therefore, E equal to D, that is AM equal to BM equal to E. If A is congruent to B mod M. Then let us come on to residue class and complete residue class. Consider a fixed M, say M equal to 10. Then if we divide any integer by M, the residues are 0, 1, 2, etc. to 9. So we can define A cap is the set of those X element of Z such that X is congruent to A mod M. Thus, for M equal to say 10, we have 7 residue classes. These residue classes are denoted by A cap. So, in 0 cap, we can see that there are minus etc. minus 5, 0, 5 etc. Similarly, 1 cap we have minus 4, 1, 6 etc. Thus, we can see the residue classes are disjoint and their union is the whole set of integers. For we have a theorem that if A is congruent to B mod M, A is congruent to B mod M, then A cap equal to B cap. We know A cap is a collection of elements or integers. Similarly, B cap is also. So let us take X is an element of A cap. A cap is the set of all X element of Z such that X is congruent to A mod M. X minus A is a multiple of M. So X is congruent to A mod M and A is congruent to B mod M, we get by the transitive property X is congruent to B mod M. Therefore, X is the set of all elements of Z such that X is congruent to B mod M. That means X is an element of B cap. Therefore, X element of A cap means X element of B cap. So, A cap is a subset of B cap. Similarly, we can see that B cap is a subset of A cap. Therefore, the set of all residues are disjoint and their union equal to set of all integers. You can see from a simple example. Say 5, M equal to 5. So we have 5 residue classes. 1 cap equal to -4, 1, 6, etc. 2 cap equal to -3, 2, 7, etc. 5 cap or 0 cap equal to -5, 0, 5, etc. You can see that they are all disjoint and also their union is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 cap, etc. Therefore, their union is the set of all integers or Z equal to 0 cap union 1 cap union 2 cap, etc. Then we can define complete residue system. You know, Z has M-1 residue classes, but we can take a representative from each class. This representative set is called a complete residue system. So we can take from this, here we can take 0, then here we can take 1 or M plus 1, and here 2 or M plus 2, etc. Here we can take M minus 1. It is a complete residue system. Similarly, we can take 1, 2, 3, etc. to M also. Or M plus 1, 2M plus 2, 3M plus 3, etc. M square also. Generally, a system in a set of numbers, say A1, A2, etc. AM are called complete residue system if each A belongs to a residue system, A cap. Then we have a theorem, that is, if Km equal to 1, that is Km and M are relatively prime, and A1, A2, etc. AM are complete residue system, then K into A1, K into A2, etc. K into AM are also complete residue system in some other order. They are nothing. Generally we can see that if Kai is equal to K into Aj, that means Kai is congruent to Kaj modulo M. That means M divides K into Ai minus K into Aj. That is, M divides K into Ai minus Aj. But M and K are relatively prime. So we can apply Euclid's lemma. So then we get M divides Ai minus Aj. But Ai and Aj are remainders or less than N. They are less than M. Therefore, M cannot divide Ai minus Aj. Therefore, Kai is not equal to Kaj. For example, let us see. Say M equal to 10. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are A1, A2, A3, etc. 0. A1, A2, A3, etc. Then take a number k. K equal to, say, a number relatively prime, that is 3. 3, 10 equal to 1. Then 3 into 0, 0. 3 into 1, 3. 3 into 2, 6. 3 into 3, 9. 3 into 4, 12. That means 2. Addition with multiplication modulo remainder is 2. Then 3 into 5, 15. That is 5. 3 into 6, 18. That is 8. 3 into 7, 21. That is 1. 3 into 8, 24. That means 1, 4. And 3 into 9, 27. That is 7. Therefore, A1, A2, etc. An are and Ka1, Ka2, Ka3 are the same in some other order. That is the property of complete residue system. Then we are come on to linear congruency. We know linear equation. Say x minus 2 equal to 0 is a linear equation. Here, that is fx equal to x minus 2. Here we can consider linear congruency. That is fx is congruent to, say, 0 mod. Then x minus 2 is congruent to 0 mod, say, 7. Is a linear congruency. Then we can see that there are so many solutions, but each solution belonging to each congruency class. For here, x equal to 2 means not only 2, it is 9. We know 9 minus 2 is a multiple of 7. Similarly, 16. 16 minus 2, etc. are all below. So, there are solutions of the congruency system, linear congruency. Then we have how this solution exists. Consider am equal to 1 and then ax is congruent to b mod m. Has the theorem states that if am equal to 1, then ax equal to b mod m has a unique solution. If am equal to 1, you can see. Since ax is congruent to b mod m and am equal to 1, we know am equal to 1, we can find. We have the complete residues are 1, 2, 3, etc. Yeah. Let 1, 2, 3, etc. are complete residues. It is representatives from each class. Since A and M are relatively prime, we know 1 into A, 2 into A, 3 into A, etc. M into A are nothing but 1, 2, 3, etc. to M. So, if R is any number, R is any element of Z, this R must belongs to any of these classes. Therefore, there exists, why the say Ra is also congruent to B mod. Or suppose B is an element of, if B is an element of Z, then this B must belong to either 1 into A residue class or 2 into A residue class, etc. But if we know if X belongs to A cap, then X is congruent to A mod M. Therefore, if X belongs to this Ra cap, then X is congruent to Ra mod M. Or Ra is congruent, and therefore we have R is an element of 1, 2, etc. to M, such that RB is an element of Ra cap, or this Ra is congruent to, or Ra is congruent to B mod M. Right? We know B is an element of Z, then Ra is one of the number, so Ra is congruent to B mod m for any of these integers. Therefore, this R is a solution, unique solution of this equation Ax. AR. Ax means AR. So there exists an element of R belongs to this one of this M such that R is congruent to B mod M if am equal to 1. So we have another theorem, that is, if am equal to D, then Ax is congruent to B mod M has a unique solution if D divides B. It's very important. If we want to solve this equation, the only condition is either am equal to 1, there is no problem. If am equal to D, we have to verify whether D divides B. Since Ax is congruent to B mod M, A by D into X is congruent to B by D into mod M if B by D is an integer. But we are given that D divides B. D divides B means B by D is an integer. Therefore, A by D into X is congruent to B by D into M. But we are given am equal to D. Am equal to D means A by D, B by M by D equal to 1. So it is just as the above theorem, that is A by D, M by D equal to 1 with A by D into X equal to B by D mod M by D. Therefore, this system has a unique solution. Say T. Therefore, A by D into T. A by D into T is congruent to B by D mod M by D. If D divides B, that is A by D into T minus B by D. M by D divides A by D into T minus B by D. That is, on simplification we get M divides AT minus B. That is, AT is congruent to B mod M. Therefore, T is the unique solution of the equation Ax is congruent to B mod M. It is possible only when condition is either am equal to D with B divides D, otherwise am equal to 1. Then we can find the solution. Before finding solution, let us discuss reduced residue system. What is reduced residue system? We all know if m equal to 10, we know in the complete residue system we have 1, 2, 3, etc. to 10. 9. 1, 2, 3, etc. to 10 or 0, 1, 2, etc. to 9. But the number of numbers less than 10 and prime to 10 are nothing but 1, that is A1, 3, A2, 7, A3 and 9. There are 4 numbers. 4 means 5 of 10. Therefore, if m is any integer, we can find 5m numbers with ai m equal to 1. How many numbers? We can see that there are 5m numbers, 5 of m numbers. So, these numbers a1, a2, etc. a of 5 of m is called reduced residue system. a1, a2, etc. a of 5m, where 5m is the number of numbers less than m and prime to it. We see that the prime numbers are the number of numbers less than m and prime to m are am equal to 1 with how many number? With 5m numbers. Then we are come on to Euler's theorem. Euler's Fermat theorem states that if am equal to 1, then a raised to phi m is congruent to 1 mod m. If m is any number greater than 1 and with am equal to 1, then a raised to phi m is congruent to 1 mod m. We can see that, let's b1, b2, etc. How many numbers we have? b of phi m numbers are belonging to the reduced residue system modulo m. Let a is any number such that am equal to 1. Therefore, a b1, a b2, etc. a b phi m are the same as b1, b2, b phi m in some other order we have verified. Therefore, we can see that b1 into b2 into etc. b phi m is congruent to a b1 into a b2 into etc. a b phi m modulo m. That is b1, b2, b etc. b phi m a. How many times? We see that is phi m times. Therefore, we can divide throughout by b1, b2, etc. b phi m. We get one is congruent to a raised to phi of m modulo m. Due to symmetry, we have a raised to phi m is congruent to 1 modulo m. If m is a prime number, that is the well-known Euler-Fermat, then we can assume that m is a prime. We know if m is a prime, we have phi of m equal to p minus 1. Phi of p equal to p minus 1. Therefore, a raised to phi of p is congruent to 1 mod p. That is, a raised to p minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod p. That is the Fermat's theorem, or simply known as Little-Fermat's theorem. Then we can find solution. We know if am equal to 1, then the congruency ax is congruent to b mod m has the solution x equal to, has a unique solution x equal to b into a raised to phi of m minus 1. It's very simple. We all know by Euler's theorem, we know a raised to phi m is congruent to, we know a raised to phi m is congruent to 1 modulo m. A raised to phi m is congruent to 1 modulo. Phi m is nothing but an integer. Therefore, it can be represented as a into a raised to phi of m minus 1. We know a raised to 9 equal to a into a raised to 8. Similarly, a raised to phi m equal to a into a raised to phi of m minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo m. Then we can multiply both sides by b. Then we get a into a raised to phi of m minus 1 into b, multiplying both sides by b, is congruent to b mod m. That is the same as ax is congruent to b mod m with x equal to a raised to phi m minus 1 into b. Therefore, ax is congruent to b mod m has a unique solution. That solution is nothing but a raised to phi m minus 1 into b. Then we have Lagrange's theorem. Lagrange's theorem states that if fx equal to c0 plus c1x plus etc. plus cnx raised to n, with all cn are not congruent to 0 mod p, that is all ci's are not a multiple of p, then this fx has at most n solution, maximum n solutions. In more than n solutions they cannot be. This can be easily proved by mathematical induction. Similarly, we have another important theorem, that is Chinese remainder theorem. Chinese remainder theorem states that if m1, m2, etc. mn are integers such that mr are integers such that they are pairwise relatively prime. That means mi, mj equal to 1. When the congruent, and let b1, b2, etc. br are arbitrary integers, then the congruency relation x is congruent to b1 mod m1, x is congruent to b2 mod m2, etc. x is congruent to br mod mr, gives a unique solution up to the modulus of m1, m2 into etc. m1. And the solution is x equal to b1 into capital M1, m1 dash plus b2 into m2, m2 dash plus etc. br into mr, mr dash. Let us see. We can prove this by, it is very important here. By means of this theorem, we can solve a system of equations, system of congruency relation. For that, let us consider capital M. Capital M equal to m1 into m2 into etc. mr. Take capital M k equal to m by small m k. That means m1 into m2 into etc. mr by mk. Since then we can see that capital Mk by small, that is capital Mk and small mk are relatively prime. Capital Mk and small mk are relatively prime. Hence we can apply the theorem, that is the equation capital Mk into x is congruent to 1 mod mk has a unique solution. Let it be capital Mk dash. Therefore, we have mk dash is congruent to 1 mod mk. Or capital Mk into mk dash minus 1 is t into mk. Or capital Mk into mk dash is equal to 1 plus t into. Consider small x equal to b1 m1 m1 dash plus b2 m2 m2 dash plus etc. plus br mr mr dash. We know m1 contains mk, m1 equal to m1 etc. mk mr by m1. So it is capital M1 mk, capital Mk does not contain small mk, but m1 is a multiple of mk, m2 is a multiple of mk, etc. Therefore, x equal to multiple of mk, etc. t into multiple of small mk plus mk dash, that is bk into 1 plus t into small mk. Therefore, x is congruent to bk mod mk. Therefore, x is congruent to bk mod mk. Therefore, this system has a solution m1 b1 m1 m1 dash plus b2 m2 m2 dash plus etc. plus br mr mr dash. Then let us see how to solve a system of equation using Chinese remainder theorem. Let us take one of the example. Say x is congruent to 1 mod 3 and x is congruent to 2 mod 5 and x is congruent to 3 mod 7. Then you can see that capital M equal to 3 into 5 into 7. Therefore, capital M1 equal to 3 into 5 into 7 by 3 equal to 5 into 7 equal to 35. Similarly, capital M2 equal to 3 into 7 equal to 21. Capital M3 equal to 3 into 5 equal to 50. Again, M1 equal to 3, M2 equal to 5 and M3 equal to 7. B1 equal to 1, B2 equal to 2 and B3 equal to. Then first solution is, so our solution is x equal to m1 dash plus b1 m1 dash plus b2 m2 dash plus b3 m3 dash. We know b1 m1 b2 m2 b3 m3. So we have, it is necessary to find m1 dash m2 dash and m3 dash. We know m1 dash is congruent to 1 mod small m. There, but what is m1? M1 is 35. Say m1 dash is assumed to be x. Is congruent to 1 mod small m1 is 3. 35 is 33 plus 2. Therefore, 2x is congruent to 1 mod 3. That is 3 gives 3 divides 2x minus 1. Say 2x minus 1 equal to 3 gives 2x equal to 4 or m1 dash equal to 2. Similarly, we can take m1, m2 dash, m2 dash. M2 dash is 1 mod m2. That is m2 is 21. 21 x equal to 1 mod m2. Small m2 is 5. We know 21 is 20 plus 1. So x is congruent to 1 mod 5. That is x m2 equal to m2 dash equal to say 1. We know 1 minus 1 equal to 0 is a multiple of 5. Then we can find m3. We know m3 dash equal to congruent to 1 mod 5, 1 mod 7. That is m3 is 15x is congruent to 1 mod 7. That is 15 equal to 14 plus 1. Therefore, x is congruent to 1 mod 7. Therefore, m3 dash is also 1. Therefore, x equal to, the solution x equal to b1 1 into m1 is 35 into 2 plus 2 into m2. m2 is 21 into 1 plus b3 is 3 into m3 is 50 into m3 dash is 1. Mod solution is mod m1 m2 m3, that is capital M, that is m1 m2 m3, that is 1 mod. On simplification we can see that x is congruent to 52 mod 105. You can see that this value satisfies all the three equations. X is congruent to 1 mod 3. You see that 52 minus 1, that is 51 is a multiple of 3. Similarly we can see that x is congruent to 2 mod 5. 52 minus 2, that is 50 is a multiple of 5. Similarly 52 minus 3, that is 49 is a multiple of 5. Yes. Thank you.